participants of the podcast are either medical marijuana patients or in a state where it is recreationally legal. Two Fried Eggs podcast does not condone any illegal marijuana or drug use or sales.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Two Fried Eggs podcast. Once again, episode 3 now, baby. I'm your boy Bosch Gaming here with my boy Dolph. What's up, homie?
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Chilling, bro. Chilling. As you can tell, I'm a little groggy. I got kind of a head cold thing going on and shit, so I'm just bear with me. I got me some good old Mickey D's Coca-Cola here in case in case I cough or whatever. Got the sniffles, bro.
Sniffles.
Yeah,
Jeez,
sniffles.
man.
It's okay. It's okay. So what's going on with you, man?
Not a lot, man. Today's my today's my son's 21st birthday. There's
Nice,
no
bro.
better way to
Nice,
feel
nice,
old
nice.
than to talk to
Yeah.
your son and say happy 21st. Because
Yeah, no shit. That's a 21st is a good one, man. I mean, like once you get past the 21st, right? 21st, and then you get 25, you get like a insurance break or something, and then after that, it's just all birthdays.
yeah, something like that. I think 30 was a big one for me. 30, and then I tried to make 40 was a decently big one, but 21 was good. Do you remember what you did for 20?
40 put me into goddamn depression, bro. I'm like, fucking hell, I'm old. No,
You
that's
are.
what I felt like though when I first hit 40. I'm like, oh man, this ain't cool, bro. This ain't cool. Not at all.
Do you remember your 21st birthday?
Actually, yeah. Wait, was that my 21st?
I don't know. You tell me. I wasn't there.
I think it. I think my 21st birthday, I was at the here locally. There's a Platte County Fair. Actually, I know I was. I had a 91. I had a 91 Z24 Cavalier. You know those like back when the Cavaliers were kind of cool, right? And it was a 5-speed. So it was a dope little 2-door car, man. And I was with my oldest kid's mom at the time, bro. And we went up to the Platte County Fair, like a demolition derby and shit, right? And I got shit-faced drunk, and she didn't know how to drive a stick. So we were leaving. She had to drive. So I put her, she's driving, and every time I'm like laid out, like just sitting there, and I'd hear the engine rev, and I'd be like, shift. Shift. And she'd shift the car, man. And
Damn it, shift.
Yeah, that's how we got home. We made it though. She didn't drink, so I was toasted, man, just trying to teach her how to drive a stick while I'm freaking blitzed out of my mind.
Yeah, I spent mine on a Panama City beach on a raw bar on the beach. Couldn't tell you the name, couldn't tell you where it was, but I remember the lady's like, "Oh, it's your first drink," and I'm like, "Sure, it's my first drink, absolutely." Yeah. Can I get a double shot now, please? Like it was crazy, but yeah, I remember it was fun.
Yeah, I never drank before in my life before 21. Said
absolutely.
No kid ever. Well, I mean, maybe a few. There's probably some kids that wait till after they're 21 to taste it. But most people like our parents back in the day, bro, would be like, "Oh, you'd be like, you want to taste a beer?" I'd be like, "Yeah, fuck yeah." They give you a drink or whatever, That's just like growing
one of
up.
the earliest recollections of my dad, my birth father, like the guy that sperm doned to me. The earliest I remember, like of him, was my mom yelling at him, "How the hell do you go to the damn ER
Right.
for eating flowers?"
Right.
That's how much, and I had no idea what they're talking about. I was like 4 years old, 5 years old maybe, and the bitch went to the hospital for eating angel trumpets. Like my parents, drinking was nothing. Drinking was like the least a part of any issues. Like they were like, "You're not smoking
they're worried
crack?
about you just eating random shit.
You're not smoking crack. All right, you're good. Like,
all right, win.
You're gonna win." Like for real, it was crazy.
Fucking hell. So anyway, we talked a little bit about kind of my situation and smoking weed and things like that, and I think now we're going to touch base a little more on how it's affected you and well, while you're here, talking about cannabis and whatnot. So, go ahead, brother.
Absolutely, yeah. I really am excited about this topic. This has been near and dear to my heart, and we all talked about this last time, last episode. $22,000 a month they were charging for the medication I used to be on.
Right.
That's insane. And you know what part of that was? Opiates. And when I stopped, the the Humira, and I stopped all the other medicines. I stopped those too. But I was on some crazy, crazy, crazy medicines for a long time. Um, have has opiates touched your life at all, or is it?
Man, I mean, I use. I'm not big on pills. Excuse me. Like I said, I got a little cold, but I'm not big on pills and stuff like that. But I've taken a little bit of everything throughout my years, whether it be for like antidepressants, and then like right now I take Xanax, not on a regular basis because it honestly it scares the shit out of me because it's so addictive, and I have
Highly.
an addictive personality. You know what I'm saying? So like, and I've talked about this with even like my mom and stuff, man. That it's something that like if I'm having a panic attack or something, I don't take anything for that other than this until I'm to the point of going to the hospital because I don't like taking it, you know.
Absolutely. So, yeah, you touched on it. Like they're highly addictive. Like it's crazy, dude. I can tell you when I first got sick, like I was going to the hospital every other week, going to the ER, getting pumped up. Like, you ever heard of Dilaudid? Like
Yeah, yeah.
crazy, crazy opiates. Being sent home with countless like this is like
Explain a little like if you don't mind, man. Explain a little like why. I mean, for people that don't know you and don't know what your issues are and things like that, why you were having to take that stuff.
gotcha. All right, yeah. So Crohn's disease is an autoimmune disorder. It's along the same lines like lupus and things like that. My body is
Okay.
basically attacking itself, and it can happen in most people. And it's crazy that some people don't know what this is because 1 in 4 people have some kind of like intestinal disease, whether
Right.
it's
Well,
diverticulitis
I'll be
or
straight with you, man. I don't really know much about it myself, so you're educating me right now. So,
that's awesome, dude. Because like ulcerative colitis, diverticulitis, sure said that wrong, and someone will hammer me. Um, Crohn's disease, like all these things are they
right.
all tied in together,
Well,
and it all
I'll tell you, my mom has what's called sarcoidosis.
there we go.
I don't know if that plays into that, but I know her body attacks, you know, and that's a whole nother thing. But anyway,
So yeah, and it's their immune system issues that like my body looks at my stomach lining and says that's not right. We're gonna go ahead and start trying to cure this, and it like my antibodies and everything are built up against my stomach, and that's how you get like ulcers and things like that. Like that's how my body eats itself, and
so it's trying to fix things that aren't actually wrong.
it's trying to fix your stomach. It's trying to yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just it believes
It
that your
just thinks
stomach is
there
the
is.
enemy.
I
Exactly.
got you. That's kind of like I'm not saying it's kind of like that, but
You're good, man.
it's somewhat to do with my like asthma and stuff because I have a buildup of white blood cells and things like that that my body is like feeling like it's trying to fight something or whatever. I don't know
Hmm.
how all that works. I'm not a fucking doctor. I'm
Yeah.
not going into that. Obviously, it's nothing compared to what you're dealing with. But um, so how has so back to where before we were talking about all that. What about you were talking about the medications and different things that you had taken throughout the years, talking about Dilaudid and whatnot.
Oh man, I've had everything from pills, shots, whatever. Like they've given me all kinds of stuff, bro. These doctors are crazy. And this is 10 years ago and later. They would give you whatever they felt like for pain. Like they're
Right,
good about it now. Like it's definitely changed in the last 10 years. Like you can see a considerable change. Like the pill mills and stuff like that are gone.
right,
But man, back in the day, like my first time getting out of the hospital, they gave me like 2 weeks worth of 1 milligram Dilaudid. If you ever take a 1 milligram of Dilaudid, like in a pill form, it's crazy. Like, dude,
yeah,
these are things like you can't function. Like most people can't
yeah,
function
man, that's
taking these
crazy.
things, and they were handing them out like candy at that point. And I ultimately settled on, I think it was 10 milligram oxys 4 times a day was like
Right,
the dose that worked for me. And honestly, if I would have taken it how they wanted me to, I would have doubled that dose or tripled that dose in the time that I take. Because it was a couple years that I was on it like heavy, but
right.
I'm not an idiot. I know, like you said earlier, these things are seriously, seriously addicting. So
Well, yeah, man. I mean,
I come off
it.
them. I would like once a month or once every other month, I'd come off of them for like a week to make sure there was no physical dependency, to make sure that I wasn't going on any benders. And they were
Right.
miserable, miserable weeks. But man, it made all the difference in the world because I've seen people come off a detox in these things. Like it's dangerous. you can die, and they were feeding me these pills like they were going out of style.
Yeah, absolutely. That's one thing I've learned just, over the years, and I've dealt with it, and I've more of my where I've dealt with it personally because I don't allow myself, or I didn't allow myself to really get into that because of that being the highly addictive stuff and whatnot. But I've been affected by people that have been around me. I mean, I've seen people. I know a person right now that I used to work with side by side at work at the job I'm at now, and who is now younger than me and is dead
Yeah,
because of it. He got hooked and got, next thing you know, he's lost his job, he's lost his marriage, and then he got a hold of something that had a little bit of fentanyl on it, and that was it. Bye bye.
that
And
stuff kills.
he's gone. This was just recently. I mean, within the last year,
I remember it happened.
So yeah, it's that's crazy stuff.
But
And
yeah,
that's another thing that there's a lot of research now. Like you kind of touched on it a little bit that with the weaning yourself off and stuff like that, man. That they're finding that cannabis can help with that and at least ease the symptoms and make it a little bit easier on the person who's trying to wean themselves off of something like that.
absolutely. And in 2015, I looked at what I was taking every day, and I was done. I was like, this is no way for me to live. I can't see myself sitting here taking. It was like 16 pills a day. There wasn't all painkillers, whatever, but
Right,
it was 16 pills a day that I needed to be able to function and be able
right,
to just be able to be outside like a normal person. And I wanted to find a better way. I wanted to find a different way. I didn't want to have to live with that fog in my head. I didn't, and that was really what it boiled down to was
right.
you're never fully coherent when you're on those pills. I don't care what anybody says.
No,
And in the same respect as medical marijuana is the same way. You can get some that are more clear headed than others and less clear headed than others. But at least you have the option to find some less, and it's not going to hurt you if you don't take it during the day. Because here's, dude, if you're on a 2 year pill habit, I mean, I say habit, but I mean you're being prescribed for 2 years,
right.
and you all of a sudden stop taking them for 12 hours, 18 hours, your ass could die. Your ass could
Oh
be
yeah, bro.
you're gonna be itching out of your skin. You're
Well,
gonna be like major issues.
excuse me. Sorry.
If I have to go work and I have to drive or whatever for 6, 12, 18, 2 days, 3 days, whatever it takes, like that's not gonna put me in the hospital. It's not gonna make me
Well,
die.
I'll tell you just on my little experience from what I take. I take a
Right?
daily. God damn it! I don't know if that's the cold or the weed, bro. Oh,
It's either
whoop.
way.
Let me get a little sippy sip here.
Drink, 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 drink. Oh, sorry. Wrong podcast.
Man, I'm telling you, free plug, but McDonald's Coke is the shit, bro. I don't know how they make it taste so damn good, but
It's not good anymore to me.
um,
It's not in
oh,
a styrofoam cup. I don't know why, but when
got
it's the
you, got
styrofoam
you.
cup, oh, dude.
But anyway, I take so like I take for my depression. I'm supposed to take a couple, but since I've started smoking on the regular, I've kind of quit taking a few myself. But I do take one pill every day, or try to take it every day for my depression and anxiety. And I will tell you that if I go a couple days even without that, and it's just I mean, it's a higher dose, but it's not like anything like what you were talking about. If I go a few days without that, man, I can definitely tell a change in my attitude, and I start getting like what I call, well, what they call brain zaps. And
Okay.
so, like, I'll be walking around, it's like I'm getting little shocks of electricity and shit, like I'll be walking, and if I don't take it for 3 or 4 days, man, I'll be walking and maybe, get these little zaps, and it feels like your knees give out a little bit, or
Damn.
whatever. And it's, through doing some research and trying to figure out what that is the medication shuts off certain receptors in your brain. And then what that is as your body is wearing it out because you quit taking it, those receptors start firing again in your brain, and it starts feeling like, like little electrical jolts or whatever.
Yeah,
It's a weird
that's
sensation,
crazy.
but even that is just so I mean, I can only imagine like if you get hooked on, what, Xanax or Oxys or something like that, trying to come off that shit, bro. That's got to be a tough battle. So,
Oh yeah.
um,
And I'm like I said, I'm not an idiot. I know the risks. I know what it is. The doctor told me that these can cause habit forming and all this stuff. So
oh yeah,
I fought through the pain and whatever to make sure that I didn't come out of this an addict. And that the only reason that I didn't come out of this as an addict is because I did. do what I did. I mean, like, let's
Right.
look at it. The VA was pumping people full of drugs, like with very little caution at all.
Right.
It was nothing to go in there and say I have knee pain, and then they give you, okay, what do you, 750s, whatever they were, like they give you five
Yeah.
milligram hydrocodone, no issues at all.
Yeah. Here you
And
go.
yeah, here you go, like, here, just open up, start tossing them in your mouth, like it's that kind of. They were some of the worst pill mills, and some of the biggest junkies I've ever seen were in those waiting rooms at the
Well, and that's
VA.
wild to me because then you wonder why all these, you know, guys coming out of the military and stuff end up, hooked on drugs or homeless or with, not. I mean, that's a big whole other story. But you know what I'm
Oh yeah,
saying? I mean, that's got to play a part in some of it. Just pumping them full of pills and different things like that to deal with all this different shit.
we got a whole show to talk about on that.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story, bro.
Bruh, they won't give
Uh,
me pain medicine. Like if I did, if let's say I got shot and went to the
right.
VA's emergency room here, they would not give me painkillers because I'm on medical marijuana.
That's wild.
Yeah, we got a whole show to talk about
That's all.
this.
Yeah, that's wild. See, I don't know nothing about all that, but that's interesting. So
Yeah.
let me ask you this now, that and kind of steers back here, but how? How did, say, you got, we talked about your issue, we talked about the pills, and you kind of helping take yourself off so you didn't get too addicted and stuff, which is brilliant, man. I know that wasn't easy. So
No.
GG on you, homie. Um, how did cannabis come into play with all of that?
2015, we talked about this last time, but 2015, I wanted to change. I started looking at some of the side effects that I was having from some of the drugs, and they were just, it was bad. Like Humira, like if you look at
Right.
some of the big, like, nasty side effects, bro, cancer. Like the drug gives you cancer. Like
Yeah.
that's, I wasn't dying from Crohn's disease. I was gonna die from cancer if I got that though, because I was not, I wasn't prepared
Right.
for that. So I
Or
started
I
looking.
mean, it could be liver failure, or who knows? I mean, with
Yeah.
all the shit they put.
So I started looking for better ways, and I started looking, going to research. I was on Twitter and started talking to people, and medical marijuana kept surfacing. Every time I talked to somebody that was in like other countries, they would be like, "This is what I'm using. I'm going into complete remission. I don't have any issues. Like the pain is manageable. I'm able to sleep. Able to eat. I mean, okay, so you look at me and trust me in the fact that I'm a big guy, but it's not because I'm sitting here chowing down on food constantly.
Right.
It's the medicine I was taking for a long time really messed me up.
Right.
I couldn't eat, man. I couldn't eat at all. It like without being completely just either on painkillers or whatever, I wasn't able to eat, and I couldn't live like that.
Man, my mom's dealing with a lot of that stuff right now, bro. She's lost a lot of weight because I mean, she's one of those people too with her disease and stuff who has taken a bag full of pills. She'd get up in the morning and have a small bowl of pills that
Yeah.
she had to take with crackers or whatever. And she's done this for with her disease for over a decade now. I mean, it's been that far out, and it's really starting to catch up to her. Stomach's having all kinds of issues, and again, not being able to eat anything like beef or anything like that, or red sauce and different things, is really really fucking with her. And so, man, I mean, you're pulling on my heartstrings, bro.
That's
Yeah, I'm gonna
all that
start
I've dealt
tearing
with.
up. I
Yeah.
keep talking about that stuff, man, because I love my mama, dude, and I've watched her
Go
deal with
through
a
it.
lot. So
Yeah, man. It's
anyway, god
you're
damn it.
good. Go, bud. You go. It's the
Can't talk
safe.
about my mama without getting upset, bro.
Hey, what she's dealing with though is the same kind of shit that I've dealt with over the years, and
Right.
like recently I've lost 48 pounds, and it's tough to
Right.
look at me. I'm a fat guy that lost 48 pounds and be happy, but I'm happy I did,
Hey,
and
man, that's something. That's something.
I
So
wish it was about something that I did. It was because I couldn't eat from Crohn's. I was so every time I ate, I would be in pain, and my body said, "You don't need to eat."
right, right.
And it's been crazy.
So what do you what it like when you were trying to like wean yourself off of that? At that point, have you tried cannabis or anything like that,
So I
or you
did.
just did that?
I smoked when I was younger, but I was like, this is just kids having fun. Like it was nothing crazy. I didn't realize that I was able to function in high school, like, and after high school, because I was smoking. And like I
Right.
was in bad, then all of a sudden I stopped smoking, and all of a sudden my health took a turn for the worse, and I had no idea why. And now
Right.
looking back, I'm like, man, I through high school and through like my early, like very early 20s, I smoked and I was able to function a lot better than I did. And then all of a sudden I started gaining weight, like crazy weight after that because I had to start taking other medication,
Right.
um, which, it just ravages your body. Um, my moods were different. Like everything was different. Everything was just went for the worst when I stopped smoking. So in 2015, when I started looking at that, I smoked for a week and I go buy a little bag, and my life was all of a sudden easier to manage because the symptoms weren't as bad. The pain wasn't, and I'm not even talking about when you're like actively smoking or actively taking edibles.
Right.
I'm saying period. Like the residual effects of THC use over the days was better, and I have a better quality of life outside of it. Like yes, I'm smoking right
Yeah.
now. Definitely gonna get stoned at the end of this, but
Right.
like I know this,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's not even the active use. I can use a lot of inactive ways to do it, like just either CBD, or I have the syringes and stuff like with the RSO and
Right.
things that are not actively trying to get someone stoned,
Well.
that are just helping with my appetite, with less pain, with just a better attitude and outlook on everything. Like
Right.
it's on all accounts.
Well, and one thing I think that bunch of people don't realize, dude, too, is that like people that don't use, right, and are like, well, I don't know, if they're used to the pills, they don't want to, switch off of that or maybe try marijuana because at first, man, when you start smoking and things like that, man, it's gonna fuck you up a lot more
Oh yeah.
than after you use for a while. Like when I first, like if I quit right now for a month and I start smoking again, bro, and smoke like I just did here, like I smoked maybe half a blunt, bro, I'm gonna be fucking gone.
Maybe twisted.
Like, because that's
Yeah.
one thing is like if that's one thing with marijuana, like too, is if you take yourself off of it for a while, it just within a month or so, you're back to like you've never smoked before, and then you fucking light up, and then you'll blow your head again. But what I was getting at, I guess, is that if people like the more you use marijuana, the less it's going to do that to you or affect your normal life because I mean, you do get used to it to where smoking a little bit is not any major thing anymore. You know what I'm saying? It just takes the edge off and you go about your fucking day.
Oh yeah, no doubt. My birth father, we talked about him earlier. I knew him, like we lost touch for like many years, and then in my late teens, my brother wanted to get married. So we found him and we had a relationship with him until he passed away. I looked at him and I didn't realize like he was self-medicating. I thought he was just wanted to get stoned, but he would sit there and he would
Right.
roll like 10 joints throughout the day. And to me, one of those would throw me into the rafters. Like I'd be done. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
him, this dude's making $1 million houses while
Yeah.
smoking those like cigarettes. And I'm just like,
Yeah. Right.
what the fuck? Like, it
Yeah.
made no sense to me. At that point, I didn't understand. I didn't know about tolerances.
Right.
I wasn't smoking. It wasn't like I said, it was just a stupid kid thing that I did. And then I quit. And then obviously there was something to what he was doing. I mean, he's
Well, I
passed away
think,
now, but the world is moving towards that.
yeah, I mean, it's going that way finally. It's taken some time over the years to see through all the bullshit that's been put out there about it. And I'm not going to sit here and say that there are no bad side effects to cannabis. You're still smoking, you're still putting smoke in your lungs, you're doing, different things. And there's a lot of people that, THC affects differently, myself included, because like you said, if I smoke the wrong stuff, man, it'll put me into panic attacks and can really fuck with my head. And but the more that it becomes regulated and you can notice that stuff, like just with me, like I can notice certain strains to where, okay, maybe I'll still steer clear of that one and, come over here to this other one that I know and I'm familiar with. And you can pick and choose what you get and what's going to help you the most now, which is pretty impressive. So,
Oh yeah, no doubt. And it's just to me being able to keep a journal and writing down what strains are good for me, what strains
right.
aren't, looking at the terpenes that come along with them, like all the different
Yep.
medicinal sides of it, how much CBD it had. Do I want to augment the CBD to get a bit like more inflammation?
Mhm.
Like there's a lot of things you can do, and when you go into these dispensaries and pharmacies that are doing this, you think you're just going to get a retail experience until you just start talking to these people and they're really telling you what's going on. Like,
Right.
these people are not just serving you as far as like just saying an order taker. A lot of them know, like, they're like, oh, myene, this is a great terpene for this, and this is the effects that most people feel with this. Like, they're going into it
Right.
and being able
I
to
want.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. I wonder how many of those people that are in there though, because like in mine, and the place I go, the people I talk to are great, right? But a lot of them are younger and things like that. And that's one thing. That's one topic I wanted to touch on is another thing that's still to this day, even with it becoming legal, I think is going to be an issue for especially the older crowd to try to do this. Is that when they go get handed this bottle of pills, they're talking to somebody in a lab coat that's been to college and done all this. When you go to, still to this day, if you go to buy something, a lot of these places you go to, you're going to be talking to, young 20 kids that are half stoned themselves, and and it's just a totally different world
Yeah.
for that age group that aren't used to, going to your fucking sketchy friend's house to buy some motherfucking weed, that like to me now I go buy weed, I'm like, dude, this is legit as fuck, but to somebody that's only been to doctor's offices, it's going to be a little different experience at first.
So the state of Louisiana has pharmacies. They don't have dispensaries. So you still have
Really?
lab
Okay.
coats. You still have all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh no, man! Like here, it's just like walking into,
Oh
like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
go in, you check in, and then it's just like, I mean, they're cool cats. Don't get me wrong; they're nice and stuff, but I don't know how really, really, truly knowledgeable they are on a medical level. You know what I'm saying?
So let me split this. The people in Louisiana are like what the lab coats and whatever. The people that I'm talking about that know about terpenes and all the like the real bud tenders, they're in Arkansas. They're not Louisiana.
I got you.
Yeah, these the ones down here is it's just not it's not effective. Like, even for the people that are don't have a high tolerance, just people that are just trying it, it's still weak and it's not good. It's not enough to medicate most people.
Right.
It's crazy. We're getting way off the subject.
No, it's just interesting, man. I mean, it is what it is, man. Just going with it. But that's
uh,
I mean, they're not really too far off subject, because I'm telling you that one of the problems they're going to have with trying to pull some of the older crowd away from so many pills, and maybe I'm not that they're going to try to do that. I don't know if it's going to be a problem or whatever, but I'm saying one problem that it would be if it was like, hey, we need to really reduce this, because obviously there's an opioid problem. I mean, there's no denying that. But
oh
it's
yeah.
going to be harder, I think, for the older crowd, like in my mom's age, my dad's age, stuff like that, that are so used to having these doctors write their script and go in the pharmacy to make that change to try cannabis and go this different direction. Like in my state in Missouri, where it's really, it's not a fucking doctor's office. You can go on and get a card. You pay some dude $75. You talk to him like this on a camera for a minute, and you got a card, and then you go up there and you got some, you know, mid-20s hottie selling you some buds. I mean, it's a whole different world. So I think for the older crowd, that's going to be a hard turn to make for a lot of them if
So you would
cannabis
think
does
that
become something like that.
but I witnessed she was probably late 60s, early 70s. I witnessed her consultation yesterday at the place I went to. And she was as lost as could be, had no idea. She's like, I would never think about doing this. Like, you could tell this was
Right.
her first consultation. And the amount of care this guy gave her and talked her through what she needed and what she was looking to
True.
do. And man,
Well, and that's,
it was
yeah, that's
beautiful.
true.
It was
That's
so,
true.
and she was like, I'm at my wit's end. I take all these painkillers. I take this. I do this. He goes, don't worry about it. I got you. We're gonna do this for the
Yeah.
daytime. This for the night. This is for breakthrough pain. Like, he gave her, and wasn't a ton of money. It was probably a couple hundred
Right.
bucks tops. And if she follows what he's doing, and which I guarantee she's gonna end up with some great results.
Yeah. Well, you make a good point, man. I mean, they're I'm getting a reaction of me walking in there with my fat ass with a teddy bear folding money up to his ear like a telephone,
What up?
walking in there, ass, like, "What's up? Give me some shit, bro."
Yeah.
No,
Where do
versus a
we eat
little
at?
old lady walking in there that's like, "Hey, I really need some help." So, and I, not that I don't. I mean, I do. I mean, but I go in with a different attitude. So yeah, I guess I'm only looking at it from my perspective and not the little old lady's perspective when she goes walking in there. I'm sure
I've
she'd get
seen you too.
treated totally different.
I've seen people like you too. Like,
Last time I was just walking through, I walked through there like I own the place, man, saying what's up to everybody and all this bullshit, you know.
see, yeah,
But
I know people like you too. Like, but
yep,
it's just
yep,
it's so cool that there's people out there that are going to take the time to help that older person or whatever, and show them the ropes of what this is. Like when the
right,
first time I went there, they gave me a poster that had all the different terpenes on it, the different what the blends do, like a welcome to medical marijuana, like welcome kit. It was the craziest thing. All
no shit.
informational, nothing. They weren't trying to sell me anything. They were trying to just show me how this works and what they have and how we can figure out what's going to work best for me.
One thing I can say about it is that I've never went into a new dispensary and really had a not yet here anyway. I've only been to a few. I only go to the one now really because it's right by my house. But I've been to a few of them, and it's always been a pleasant experience. Like it's not been like I've walked in and they're just like unhappy to be helping me or it's like everybody seems like they're at least in Missouri right now
So
is
that's
really
Louisiana.
yeah,
It
they're like
is.
really there to be like, "Fuck, dude, I just want to get you the best shit that you can. If you, or if you can't afford the best shit, I'm gonna try to get you the best shit that you can afford. That's gonna help you. Blah
Yeah.
blah blah." And I think they genuinely do care when people come in there because everybody's been trying and fighting for this for so long that now it feels like everybody in that industry, at least that I come in contact with directly. I'm sure there's some behind the scenes shit that's not so friendly, but everybody seems happy to be a part of it and like a part of a movement or whatever,
Well, it's all about
for the
medicating
greater good, I
patients.
think.
Medicating patients is what this boils down to. It has nothing like, yes, smoking weed is fun at times. Like if you're partying,
Yeah.
like it's great. There's a lot of good things
It's fun. You smoke, play video games or whatever, man. It's
exactly.
just
Like yes, I get that. But when it boils down to what this all is about, it's about medicating patients, and whether the byproduct is that I have a good time
right.
because I'm medicating is a lot better off than me sitting there. Dude, I spent a year almost in bed. That's how, like,
That's
I never
crazy,
thought I
man.
would be able to get back to a normal lifestyle at
Right.
all. And for me to be able to run with my kids, go out there and go soccer and kick them around and throw the football around with my buddies, like kid, like that to me, just because I chose a plant over pills
Right.
is is crazy. Like to me, that
Yeah.
makes all the difference in the world.
Well, and it's so crazy that all this time that again, man, it comes back to it. It's so fucked up, but it comes back to the whole time the government and pharmaceutical companies pushing these pills, and the whole time pushing how bad marijuana is. Buy these pills, don't smoke weed, buy these pills. Just beating it into our fucking heads our entire fucking lives, bro. It's such a crock of shit.
Most definitely. And if they would
Such a
just
crock of shit, bro.
if it would just get off the schedule list, a lot of stuff would be a lot
Yeah,
better.
man.
But
It's
big pharma
ridiculous.
is going to keep it there as long as possible.
They're
Like
gonna try, yeah, I imagine. I imagine there's some pushback for sure, when
think
you're
of how much
talking
money they're
billions.
losing. Oh,
Oh
I
yeah,
love it.
bro.
It makes me so happy. Now I'd love to hear them losing the profits that they're taking off of sick people.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I mean,
it, man.
it's an epidemic, man. Big time. I mean, there's no denying that if you look at the numbers and stuff, man. It's anything well, it's a terrible thing, and anything that can help lessen that blow, whether it be smoking fucking weed or whatever, man. I say why would you try to keep that, and another thing, and I can tell you too, is the same goes with like alcoholics and things like that, man. Weed helps a lot of people that are trying to quit drinking because it's destroying their fucking liver and things like that. It will help not drink as much. I can tell you firsthand that I've had people in my life that were alcoholics and turned to smoking, and it changed their lives for the fact that they can still kind of take the edge off, and they don't destroy their liver or wake up the next day hungover, and they may still drink a little bit too, but they're not sitting there just fucking throwing them back. They're able to do it as a normal person would, I guess, someone, and so it definitely helps or can help wean yourself off of things and like that. So I don't understand.
Well, a lot of
I
those
don't know.
people that are drinking that hard are medicating. They're self-medicating the
Yeah,
wrong way, but
yeah,
they're
but
medicating.
they're doing it the legal way that they've been taught. Hey,
This is socially
whether it be pills
acceptable.
or alcohol or whatever, this is legal. So go ahead and do this shit that's actually worse for you than smoking a little flower or something,
Absolutely.
But well, I think we need to dive back into this a little deeper, man, because it sounds like a lot of what you're dealing with is a lot of what my mom's dealt with and stuff like that. But that's I'm gonna save that for a day where I'm not stuffy, because I'm already snotty. I start crying and shit, bro, I'm gonna start snotting all over the place, So
Oh no, but it's a good podcast. We can make you cry, so I'm in.
yeah, it'd be something to talk about, man. And maybe we could even have my mom around for it somehow or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But
That'd be
man,
great.
I think we're just getting started. We probably need to do a little more on this topic, honestly. And I'd like to get to know your situation a little more, as far as, what you've dealt with and things. I feel like we kind of touched the surface, you know what I mean? But that we could definitely dive into it a lot deeper at a later point. But it's
Absolutely.
interesting, man. It's interesting stuff. Sorry you dealt with all you dealt with, brother. I know that shit ain't easy, and good on you to still be sitting here and with that roof over your head and your family there, and doing your thing, and not laying in a coffin somewhere like some other people, that weren't so fortunate, or you really got a hold of. So I
Oh yeah,
love you,
man.
brother,
Love you too, bro.
and I think we need to make another date to talk some more about this.
Absolutely. We'll cut that off to the next episode then.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Hey, 2 fried eggs, baby. 2 fried eggs. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. 2 fried eggs on TikTok as well. I'm sure we're going to have a Twitter up soon. Bosch Gaming on all socials. We're just getting started. We love you guys. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for tuning in. Please subscribe below if you like our content. New episodes dropping every Friday. Stay tuned.